Well, at least he got a donut out of it. Everybody else is gonna suffer, but at least he got a donut, right?
Usually it wasn't fed to him that way.
Was having to go through tunnels a big thing while you were out there?
No, the tunnel rats. You had to be a pretty small guy to be a tunnel rat.
So they sent in the Italian guys a lot, I would imagine that. Looks like he's a little dehydrated here. Change your socks and drink water. How many times do we gotta tell you?
A lot of people have this romantic idea of what war is like, and half the time it's just being miserable.
How much hands-on did drill instructors have on the recruits back then?
There was more people falling over foot lockers than you can imagine.
Hey guys, Marty Skovlund Jr. here. I'm reporting on assignment here in Erbil, Iraq. Just outside of Kabul, Afghanistan.
Hey everybody, I'm Marty Skovlund Jr. here with another Veterans React. We've got a really special one this time around. We're gonna watch some Vietnam War movies with Vietnam War veteran, Marine Corps veteran, Willard Dean. We've also got Marine Corps veteran Jack Mandaville here. So we're excited about this one. But I mean, first and foremost though, Willard, can you tell us a little bit about your time in the Marine Corps?
Kind of went and put 7 years in. I was in Key West and I thought I'd extend for 3 years to go live it out in Hawaii. Got to Hawaii about a year and all of a sudden they put us on ship and didn't know where we were going. Woke up in Okinawa, didn't know where we were going. Got to a place called Vietnam we'd never heard of before and they started passing out live ammo. We went over the side of the ship on the nets, got in the PT boats and did an amphibious assault landing at Chu Lai. And from there it was all live or survive.
How long were you in Vietnam then? How long was your tour?
I was there back twice. I went in first time for 13 months. Came back, went down on Cuba on the fence line. I was in the infantry and they were short on staff. I was a staff sergeant when I was over there. And so I went back over for 6 more months.
So to all the modern Marines complaining about your 6-month deployments, 13 months right here.
And then another 6 after
And then
that.
another 6 after.
Do you maggots understand that?
Sir, yes, sir.
Bullshit, I can't hear you.
What we got here is Full Metal Jacket. I think we've all probably heard of this one.
Sir, yes, sir.
For anybody who watched this before they went into the military, this is their picture of what boot camp was like, was this movie.
That you, John Wayne? Is this me?
Who said that? Who the fuck said that?
Because everybody going into the military, they want to know, what's boot camp like? How hard is it? What is it? And so Gunnery Sergeant Hartman here, played by real-life Marine Corps veteran Arlie Ermey.
Who's the slimy little communist shit twinkle-toed cocksucker down here who just signed his own death warrant?
Is that how you remember your drill instructor being?
The very fucking godmother said it. I'm fucking standing. I will PT you all until you fucking die.
He wasn't that nice.
Was it you scroungy little fuck, huh?
There, now we're getting realistic.
You look like a fucking worm. I bet it was you. Sir, no, sir.
Sir, I said it, sir.
He had a lot of hands-on.
Well, no shit. What have we got here? A fucking comedian, private joker.
How much hands-on did drill instructors have on the recruits back then?
There was more people falling over foot lockers than you can imagine.
I admire your honesty. Hell, I like you. You can come over to my house and fuck my sister.
Another foot locker incident there.
I got your name. I got your ass. You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers. I will teach you.
That was very realistic as far as that part goes. To make a point, the best way to do it was hands-on.
Did your parents have any children that lived?
Sir, yes, sir.
I bet they regret that.
I think in this part here, we're finding out whether this particular boot is able to
Suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
Sir, no, sir.
They were a little more loose with their innuendos back then than they are now.
It looks to me like the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress.
This is such an infamous scene though, because when he's talking to Private Joker about, let me see your war face.
You got a war face? Ah! That's a war face. Now let me see your war face. Ah!
You think about, hey, these guys are all going to go to Vietnam. They're all, whether they know it or not, they're going to war.
You don't scare me. Work on it.
Sir, yes, sir!
A guy like the drill instructor in the Marine Corps, he's got to give that first inoculation of stress to see, are these guys going to be able to hold up? Or can we get them to hold up to the stress of combat?
Right now, they're all in a state of shock.
Are you shook up? Are you nervous? Sir, I am, sir!
First day they roll that trash can down the middle of the aisle to wake you up. You wake up and you think, what did I get myself into?
Let me hear your war cry. Ah! Next to private, go!
Again, anybody that has gone into the military, Marine Corps or otherwise, everybody has to do an obstacle course at some point.
Don't make any fucking effort to get up to the top of the fucking obstacle!
I don't know what they call it in the Marine Corps, but in the Army we call these gut busters. They're not fun.
If God wanted you up there, he would have miracled your ass up there by now, wouldn't he?
No, and especially if you can't do it.
What the hell is the matter with you anyway?
Yeah.
Them poor guys got themselves hands-on quite a bit. They paid for it in many ways, not being able to do it.
One pull-up, Pyle, come on, pull! You gotta be shitting me, Pyle! Get your ass up there!
In the Marine Corps, man, they are big on their pull-ups, so if you can't do pull-ups, that's
You are a worthless piece of shit, Pyle! Get out of my face!
a bad day.
Get up there, Snowball! Get up here, fat boy!
It was amazing how many couldn't do that obstacle course, so.
Did you see a lot of guys in your boot camp class that couldn't do a single pull-up, or most guys could do at least one?
I'd say that probably a third of them wasn't able to do pull-ups.
You climb obstacles like old people fuck! You know that, Private Pyle? Get up here, you're too slow! Move it, move it!
Called an obstacle course, there was all kinds of obstacles there that caught one guy or another on something he couldn't do or didn't do it very well, or he was scared of height. It brought out the best of you for sure, or the worst, I should say.
Well, what in the fuck are you waiting for, Private Pyle? Get up and over!
That's me clinging on to a beer when my friends tell me I've had enough.
Jesus H. Christ.
Uh-oh.
Private Pyle, why is your footlocker unlocked?
Oh, no, you done did it there, Private Pyle.
If there is one thing in this world that I hate, it is an unlocked footlocker. You know that, don't you?
Sir, yes, sir!
Did they actually have you guys stand up on top of your footlockers like that?
No, we always had ours standing on beside him there.
That's how I remember it, too.
Because that's why he wanted to get in there. He'll tip that upside down and make a mess of it.
Let's just see if there's anything missing.
There you go.
Holy Jesus.
Uh-oh.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
I think we have all seen this scene before.
What is that, Private Pyle?
Sir, jelly donuts, sir!
A jelly donut?
That's what you get for being fat, dude. Trust me, I know.
From now on, whenever Private Pyle fucks up, I will not punish him.
Everyone's gonna pay for that.
I will punish all of you. Now get on your faces. Open your mouth.
Well, at least he got a donut out of it. Everybody else is gonna suffer, but at least he got a donut, right?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4.
Usually it wasn't fed to him that way.
This is one of the worst punishments in the military, when you are the one that has to stand there while all of your platoon mates are made to do push-ups and get scuffed up, because what it does is it turns the entire unit against you.
Everybody hates me now.
So they call that universal treatment. Everybody's the same.
So when you guys deployed, were you carrying M16s at that time, or was it the M14s?
M14.
Outstanding, Private Pyle. I think we finally found something that you do well.
Because I don't think the M16s came along until later in the war.
I never seen them the times I was there. So
Yeah.
mine,
How did you like that M14?
I don't want no teenage queen!
I just want my M14.
I just want my M14!
I missed the old M1.
Oh, really?
Well, I missed the old M1. We were there for probably 14 days and we'd never taken our magazines apart. And the magazines and the wires all stuck inside the magazines. So the first time we got hit, one bullet shot out of the rifle. Take the magazine out, tip it upside down, the rounds just fell out. It was between the humidity and the heat net. It just destroyed your magazines.
You keep saying you got something for me.
I bet this does not match up with your Vietnam experience.
You've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin'.
All we ever saw was a small little village in Chulai. There was no restaurants, no drinks. In fact, we had little kids that used to sell us Cokes, and then they quit doing that, and when they started putting shaved glass in the Cokes.
Oh my gosh.
You got girlfriend, Vietnam? Not just this minute.
The only kids that have ever sold me coke are on the south side of San Antonio.
Me so horny. You keep lying. Me love you long time.
Yeah, you see scenes like this, and it's completely different.
This doesn't match up with your experience.
No.
$15? $15 for both of us. No, each you $15.
Not even a little either time. In fact, when we went there the second time, it was still one hot meal a week, sea rations all the rest of the time.
Well, why don't we move on to the next clip here?
Was it too buku for you, Marty?
Too buku.
Was it too buku for you?
$5 is all my mom allows me to spend.
So this next one, Hamburger Hill. Jack, do you want to tell us a little bit about this movie?
I watched it for the first time when I was about 8 years old.
Oh, shit.
Accidentally, you know that weird period back in the 90s when you would get like the free HBO channels for about a week?
Hey, don't no shit me, troop. Old man has me breaking in another new lieutenant. Looks like Palmolive fucking soap. Yeah, well, I don't need this FNG shit.
I probably shouldn't have watched this movie at 8 years old, yeah.
Yeah, well, write your congressman. You tell him I need a steak, bucket of cold beer, and a round eye to wrap my leg around.
Is that the Vietnam you remember? Muddy and...
It was. The simple fact, there was an enormous amount of rain. You had more nights sleeping in cold, wet uniforms than you had in dry ones.
Oh, wow.
What did they say the signal for incoming rounds?
Oh, man, I can't even tell the difference between incoming and outgoing. I dove off the shitter up at Evans. It was our stuff going out.
Plus, it was so hot. During the daytime, you laid there with a poncho over you. Nighttime is when you did all your building your foxholes and whatever you're going to do.
And we should note, too, these are Army guys here. I see a 101st Airborne patch.
It's Claire. If she's fucking for peace, man, I'm on the wrong side.
You know, I look at stuff like this and I feel like it's very realistic because, you know, you get a bunch of young men together under high stress situations, living together nonstop overseas. Every once in a while you're going to get into arguments, you're going to get into fights.
I meant nothing by it.
Once again, when we were there, I think it was still such a first-time deal. I don't remember a fight once in our battalion, in our platoon. And it really got to go brotherhood and working together.
We're airborne. We don't start fights. We finish them.
I don't know if anybody's feathers have got rifled up like that.
I can tell you one thing, Hamburger Hill sounds delicious to me right now.
What's for lunch?
Franks and beans. I'm not eating that shit.
You know, I think a lot of movies, especially Vietnam movies, I feel like they have done a good job explaining is how important it is to change your socks all the time.
Hey, Sarge, think they're gonna send us some foot powder with that resupply?
You stop worrying about nothing for Christ's sake.
Take care of your feet and your feet will take care of you.
You go back to the world with bad feet, what can they do to you? Send you to Vietnam.
Yeah, that's the one thing everybody had 2 or 3 pair of. Go out at night, come back in the morning, they were all wet and everything. You'd take them off, put on dry ones, air cooler, run down to the ocean and wash your socks out real fast.
Okay, let's get ready. Let's take this squad. Teddy Ford, May 17th.
Did you ever see the media while you were out there? 60 Minutes, anybody?
How long have you been on this hill, soldier? What?
Believe it or not, on Operation Starlight, I didn't even know he was there. There was a photographer, and he caught me in a picture we were carrying one guy to MIA over to medevac, and my brother was stationed in Japan in the Air Force, and it came out in the Stars and Stripes newspaper. And he saw my picture, and one chance out of a million, he saw me in the Stars and Stripes newspaper.
Wow. Uh-oh, we got Forrest Gump.
Nobody gives a husky shit who you are, pussball! You're not even low-life scum-sucking maggot!
One of my favorite movies, not because of the military aspects. You've watched Forrest Gump? What did you think of this movie?
At first, it seemed like I made a mistake, seeing how it was only my induction day and I was already getting yelled at.
It was more on the comedy side. I got more of a kick out of him than I did anything.
His military trajectory is so over the top.
Go! What's your sole purpose in this army?
To do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant.
It does kind of show you, though, a lot of the times these guys that come into the military and try to overthink everything, and they kind of show, hey, just don't overthink things and you're probably going to do really well.
You are goddamn gifted, Private Gump.
Just do what you're told and be on time, and
shut your mouth.
90% of the military right there.
Yes, drill sergeant!
On a good day, you can catch over 100 pounds of shrimp.
This is something we even did in modern boot camp.
2 men shrimp in 10 hours, less what you spend on gas. You can...
Done, drill sergeant!
You'd put that little rag out on your footlocker and...
Why did you put that weapon together so quickly, Gump?
You told me to, Drill Sergeant.
Disassemble and assemble that weapon over and over again. They filmed the overwhelming majority of the, not just the movie, but the Vietnam scenes in South Carolina.
Really?
I got to see a lot of the countryside. We would take these real long walks.
Does this terrain look pretty familiar to what you were dealing with?
And we were always looking for this guy named Charlie.
The dikes and everything wasn't all this big. One guy had walked single file going across the dikes. You never found a road going down through there.
Hold on point!
It wasn't always fun.
Because somebody had to create that road, and these villages didn't have the means of that to create a road like that.
Did you ever have any things in the headband on your helmet?
You know, as strange as it sounds, I don't ever remember a guy putting anything in his helmet like that. I mean, some of them on the inside would tape a picture of their girlfriend.
Now, I don't know much about anything, but I think some of America's best young men served in this war.
Probably the biggest obstacle I ever seen, how they get bunched up going across. They're always in a bunch.
Cleveland, he was from Detroit.
That's my favorite character right there. Marlboro Red Man. Brought to you by Philip Morris.
Yeah, check out that hole.
Was having to go through tunnels a big thing while you were out there?
No, the tunnel rats. You had to be a pretty small guy to be a tunnel rat.
So they sent in the Italian guys a lot, I would imagine that.
One day, it started raining, and it didn't quit for 4 months.
I just love this montage here for just showing how miserable life in the infantry can be at times. Sitting in fighting positions, sitting in foxholes, walking through the water, walking through the rain.
Sometimes rain even seemed to come straight up from underneath.
A lot of people have this romantic idea of what war is like, and half the time it's just being miserable.
I'm gonna lean up against you, you just lean right back against me. This way we don't have to sleep with our heads in the mud.
Or at least life in the infantry in general. I'm a little bit careful with that because I had it pretty good overseas.
You know why we a good partnership force? Because we be watching out for one another, like brothers and stuff.
What you guys had to deal with, these small patrol bases out in the middle of nowhere, like you said, not showering for months at a time, sea rations twice a day. It wasn't glamorous, right?
No, and the thing like that, something they never showed, when you go through that water like that, first thing the next morning, everybody would line up and take their shirts off and everything. And you take turns taking leeches off everybody's back and their stomach and that. And
so I went out for a walk to see our nation's capital.
Hillary! All right, I got the facts. What do you want me to do with them?
Oh, when Forrest Gump accidentally speaks at an anti-war rally.
The streets was awful crowded with people looking at all the statues and monuments, and some of them people were loud and pushy.
Another place he wasn't supposed to be, that Forrest. When you came back from Vietnam, had that anti-war sentiment really seeped in yet?
Yeah, when we come back, they flew us into El Toro. They put us on a bus with blackened windows, made us change to civvies, took us to the airport in the middle of the night, told us not to put on a uniform till we got 100 miles from home. And that's the way we came back.
You had to basically hide that you were even in the service.
It wasn't much cared for. They didn't like us too much.
How did you see Vietnam veterans get involved in the anti-war efforts? Did you guys have opinions on that?
Hey, you're a good man for doing this. Good.
Okay. They were going on, because at the same time we came in, we had a ship coming with some Marines coming back. And they had a big demonstration going on the docks, and they had to pull that ship back out to sea for 2 weeks to clear the demonstrators so they could land the guys. They were scared they unloaded that ship with them down there. There might be a little bit of problem.
Crazy that they would land you in Vietnam ready to take on the VC, but they won't land you in the United States.
Oh my gosh.
So I live with my Marine Corps.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm rejuvenated. I was starting to fade off from that burrito I ate earlier. I'm back.
Tell us a little bit about the war, man.
War in Vietnam? War in Viet fucking Nam!
Have you ever been to the Washington Monument and to the mall there before?
I got to go on the Freedom Flight.
Oh, you did?
2 years ago.
How was that?
Let me tell you what, we got to see all the memorials, the Air Force, the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And one touched you as much as the other, but I got to find 5 of my men's name on the wall. But it was quite an experience to see that and what they've done with it. It's enormous. It was an experience I'll never forget.
Was that your first time there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
It's now Platoon. Have you ever seen this movie before, Willard?
Nope, never seen this one.
Oh, wow.
So Oliver Stone, correct me if I was wrong, Jack, Oliver Stone was a Vietnam veteran himself.
Vietnam veteran, Bronze Star recipient, Purple Heart recipient. Charlie Sheen's character in this is loosely based off of himself.
Hey, boy, what you waiting for? Ain't gonna bite you.
Oh, that guy's got some Marlboro Reds too. The taste of Philip Morris.
But going through thick jungle like this, is this a lot of the type of terrain you guys were dealing with?
Oh yeah, that's why you usually had two guys up front with machetes clearing the way out. That's why they dropped so much Agent Orange.
Mm.
Looks like he's a little dehydrated here.
Yeah, that heat over there.
Change your socks and drink water. How many times do we gotta tell you?
I'm sorry, Sergeant.
Take them salt pills.
You're humping too much stuff, Troop. You don't need half this shit. I'll haul it for you.
When you were in Vietnam, what ranks were
Staff
you?
sergeant.
You were staff the first time, okay.
Yeah,
So you'd already had quite a bit of experience in the Marine Corps.
They were short on officers, so I was a platoon commander on a weapons platoon.
Oh, really? Okay.
Thanks, Sergeant.
That's one thing that is unique about the Marine Corps. A staff sergeant is the platoon sergeant typically, whereas in the Army, a staff sergeant a lot of time is a squad leader. And that's one thing that the Marine Corps does differently is they put a little bit more responsibility, one rank down more than typical. So
Yeah.
you would have been the platoon sergeant, but then you were shifted into that platoon commander role.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right, you okay?
And as a Lance Corporal, my job was to do what I was told.
Hey, white boy, what you waiting for? That hole ain't gonna dig itself.
Everybody had a part. Different places, different times, different things, but one guy was just as important as another, though, in my mind.
I hate it already, and it's only been a week. Some goddamn week, Grandma.
When you would get new guys in country, if they'd come in and they were new, were you pretty tough on them?
It's scary because nobody tells me how to do anything because I'm new. Nobody cares about the new guys. They don't even want to know your name.
Or did you try to teach them as fast as possible?
No, I assigned him a buddy.
Yeah?
I told him, you stick with this guy, and when he goes left, you go left, and you go right with him and listen to him. If he gives you advice, don't question it. Take that advice and live with it. It might keep you alive.
I tell you what, you be cool. I introduce you around to some of the heads.
What are the heads?
Later, man.
You said you didn't really experience this, but this is one of my favorite scenes of the movie. It's them coming back from a tough mission, and they go into their bunker, and they have a little party set up in there, but it may not be as relatable. I just like watching people get high and drunk.
Your Highness has arrived. Hey, what's up? Hey, I thought you was hanging Teddy Cambodi. Look at this. Yeah, man.
Like I said, we only had 2 beers the whole time we were there. Never had nothing like that.
Yeah.
What you doing in the underworld, Taylor?
Well, this here ain't Taylor. Taylor been shot. This man here is Chris. He been resurrected.
I'm not saying nothing like this never happened, but I feel like this is unrelatable for a lot of guys who their deployed experience.
I've never even heard of him. This is completely unfamiliar there.
Go ahead on, man. Smoke it.
The thing is, at nighttime, you weren't in there. You were out there in your bunker. You didn't have a place to go to. You were on guard on your own from 2 or 3 men to a foxhole. So like I say, the worst time they came was nights.
Feel good?
Yeah, it feels good.
Feeling good's good enough.
I hate to judge them because everything was a different time, different place, different situation. And, if you didn't live when they did, it's hard to discredit it because they could have had everything a lot different.
Put your mouth on this.
Well, and it's similar to, the war Jack and I experienced where, Vietnam, you know, roughly what the first guys going in were about 1954. Those are early advisors.
Yeah.
The early advisors, and then up through 1973, 74 was about a 20-year war.
Yeah.
And then we saw a similar thing with Iraq and Afghanistan, about a 20-year war. And you talk to a guy, your experience, Jack?
I'm one of the old ones.
Yeah. Well, it's just like you and I only served a couple years apart, but we had dramatically different experiences.
You were really an Afghanistan era person, and yeah.
I did 3 deployments to Iraq and 2 to Afghanistan.
I was way off.
And so I spent my first 2 deployments, my first deployment was Iraq, then I did Afghanistan, then I did 2. I'm getting them mixed around now, but I did 3 Iraq and 2 Afghanistan.
Because you're getting old, Marty. Because you're getting old.
It's because I'm on the spot right now. I got to look at a calendar.
You got to just go sit yourself down at the American Legion and write it down.
Yeah. Willard, thanks so much for sitting down with us here. It is a rare opportunity for Jack and I to be able to sit down with Marine Corps veterans such as yourself that experienced that part of the war and you know, look at some of these movies that, you know, maybe there was a few things that were familiar, but a lot of it's not, and I think that's a unique perspective. And things that I think a lot of people should know is, hey, what you see in the movies is not always exactly what's happening in war. You know, at the end of the day, Hollywood's trying to entertain people. You know,
and it's for show, and I try not to judge so much because my time was my time, and don't judge it. You know, it's just like going down the street. Don't judge yourself with the guy you walk by. You know, you don't know where he came from, what he's doing. Keep it to yourself, and that's what I tried to do when I'm watching these: is not make any kind of comparisons because you can't do it because you weren't there when they were there.
Well, that's all for today. Hey, I want everybody if you're watching these Vets Reacts, make sure that you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the Black Rifle Coffee YouTube channel. Make sure you go out there, and if you like these videos, go buy the coffee. It's the best coffee you're gonna get out there. And you know, it's helps keep beer in the fridge over here, the lights on, so we can keep doing these videos and making great content, give me and Jack an excuse to hang out with great men like Willard here. All that being said, here's till the next one. Thanks, Willard.
And it's great coffee, by the way, too. I drink it.
Thank you, sir. We got some for you to leave with.
Funny thing, and nobody's ever heard about this, when we left Hawaii, heading for Okinawa, the service will send your car to your next duty station. Our next duty station was Vietnam, so we lost our cars.
So the U.S. government stole your vehicles?
Well, we got a letter from the state of Hawaii saying if you don't come pick up your car in 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to repossess it. And so, of course, I went in and seen the commanding officer and said, I'm going back to Hawaii to get my car. That joke didn't go over too well.
Did they really put cigarettes in your rations?
Yeah, little probably 2 or 3. They fit about 3 cigarettes in the pack, if I remember right, 3 or 4 cigarettes.
I was born in the wrong time.